quickly, before I get into tonight's weather, what's this? Tens of thousands of water bottles intended for hurricane victims were found in Puerto Rico field. Sea of expired water bottles, folks. Tens of thousands. I know some people that are from Puerto Rico. I heard some pretty horrific stories about the struggle these people had to go through. You talk about third world country. Why? Well, corrupt government, not doing the simple maintenance things that they probably could have done to help prevent such a disaster. But when we find this evidence here, and when you say expired water, I mean, are you kidding me? Killed nearly 3,000 people. I believe that number is closer to 5,000. A lot of people could have used that water. I mean, let's think about it. Not all 3,000 deaths were connected to the immediate impact of the hurricane. But over time, it could have affected someone who died of a heat stroke or dehydration, or maybe a bacteria illness that was in the unclean drinking water that they were drinking in the first place. This pile of water could have helped somewhere. And I think it's outrageous. This is a smack in the face to the Puerto Rican people. And the government should be held 100% accountable for this. It's not like they can just get on the highway and drive to Florida. Well, we got to go. There's a lot of problems here, so let's drive to Florida. They can't do that like we can. We had a natural disaster here in New York. We could get in our cars, hopefully if we survived it, and drive to another state until it's safe to come back. These folks were stuck here. There was supply to help them, and it got wasted. And this goes back not just to the water and the food. The food was wasted as well. After the storm, and after they got the power grid up the first time, when it went out the second time, they found a building with a bunch of brand new equipment. New wire, new transformers, new poles, everything they needed to maintenance these things throughout the past decade or so. I hope that this kind of exposure makes some of these other country leaders think about what they're doing. Are they really protecting their people? Are they really taking, and maybe folks in these countries and states should pay more attention on who they elect. All right, as we're doing this weather report here, I'm now hearing some thunder in my neck of the woods. Here's a live look. And Maria was pretty much almost spot on here in upstate New York. These storms have held together, weakened just a little bit. Now, the reason why we're probably seeing these storms weaken, obviously, is the sun is down and the heat from that energy is also helping weakening these thunderstorms. In fact, very few lightning strikes compared to what we were before we went live. So we've got some line of thunderstorms here in the Northeast, going through Vermont, New Hampshire, into Maine. Good strong line still getting ready to head to Farmington. Here, you guys have been pounding with storms left and right this evening. You got another round heading your way right now. That's in Maine. Lebanon, New Hampshire. Burlington is quiet for now, just some spotty showers. The capital region once again gets rocked. And I was traveling on the Interstate 87 today. Pittsburgh dealing with some thunderstorms. Lightning struck a pine tree and took up 2 lanes of traffic. And we thought there was an accident, and thankfully there wasn't. Everyone was able to avoid the fallen tree. But just to give you an idea, the tree had been struck by lightning. You could smell a very heavy scent of pine, and that's from where the wood and everything was exposed to a lightning strike. Several trees along that interstate, by the way, were down inside the woods. So that area is very, very thick when it comes to wooded areas. But check it out. East Coast tonight, we are dealing with thunderstorms, and behind it is the relief that we've all been waiting for, cooler air. Today was a high of 91. Tomorrow will be 79 in this region. The humidity will be way down. The dew points will be way down. Other than that, we've got spotty shower activity all over the United States tonight. Let's take a look at our storms, shall we? Because there's a lot of hype on the internet about them. Look at this. 0% chance of development of the current system in Puerto Rico. This was the one where people were saying that this could reach Florida. I'll go ahead and update this real quick, actually, to see if that changes. So this map says we're looking at a 10% chance over the next 5 days of formation, only because of where they think this low pressure system will be, not because it'll be developing so much south of Florida. I think they're really expecting, National Weather Service in the next 5 days are expecting the most development chance when it gets to this part of the waters. Waters are warm and favorable for this right here. Right here, this is where not only are we struggling with water temps, but we are struggling with things like shear. I know it's hard to see this, so I'll bring the arrow back out. So I'll show you where the storm is right now as we speak. Right here, the tip of my arrow. Okay? This low pressure system has been dealing with this wind shear right here. Now, obviously, the brighter orange and red has passed away. It's moving towards Africa now. But we're still dealing with wind shear. And when you have strong wind shear, the likelihood of this system getting organized and turning into something is very low. However, if the current wind shear patterns continue, as you can see, the reason why NOAA likes the chances of development right in this area in the next 5 days is this: lack of wind shear. If this system can make it past this current wind shield and it gets into this area, yes. But look at all the wind shear we have coming in from the United States to support of pushing that storm probably back out in the Atlantic and getting close to the East Coast, maybe starting to some coastal flooding and some showers. But I think that could be the worst of it. I hope I'm right on this one. But if I had to go with what we're looking at right now, here's your wind shear right here in the yellow and the green and the orange. Our storm system's right here over Puerto Rico at the tip of my red arrow. And if we go to the live actual satellite right now, you can almost see the motion. Oops, that's not it. Here we are. This is our system. And right now, it almost looks like it's going due north and trending already back out to the Atlantic. Very early stages. And as we are speaking right now, we are actually going through a bit of a heavy downpour. So if we lose power, we do apologize. The winds are picking up, and you might be able to hear it in the background.
There's almost 30,000 outages in power outages.
Lots of power outages throughout New York. Mari just said we have 30,000 power outages. I actually got an email before the broadcast talking about how the line of storms that are coming through now could cause power outages. But anyway, so here's our arrow. That's our storm. And our wind shear is still present right in this area right here. So this low pressure system right here has to make it past this area that's got strong wind shear. If it does, they like the chances of development right in this region in the next 5 days. But if you go back here to Mike's weather page, and the most up-to-date page of all of this, here we are in the next 24 to 48 hours, 0 chance of any development. And that is pretty much right on cue, if you ask me, because of the wind shear. There's no exaggeration of that. There is 0 chance of anything getting itself together right now at this point. So that's our outlook right now. We do have 2 areas that we're watching. The long term says that the second wave, which is closer to Africa, might have a better chance of actually turning into something. And it is way too far to talk about this one. But usually, these storms that form back here in the Atlantic, and they continue to hold their own going into August, which is more ripe season for hurricanes, this might be our first actual system that we might have to watch as far as a full-on hurricane making a close encounter to the U.S. Right now, we don't know I've heard that there's a possibility this system goes into the Gulf. If it does, it'll definitely encounter a lot warmer waters. But right now, we do have some warmer waters along the coast of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. So interesting to see with these next two storms. This first one here, again, not seeing it. Anything can happen over the next 24 hours, but I've seen this system weaken and the wind shear pretty much do its job, and that is prevent any kind of organization to make this become a hurricane. So let's go ahead and take a look at the GFS outlook like we always do. Experiencing the heavy rain currently right now from all the way from the Tennessee Valley through upstate New York. Overnight into Wednesday, the rain moves out. The atmosphere kind of reloads. We will see some spotty shower activity in the same areas that we're seeing rain tonight on August 1st. That's Thursday. High pressure settling in the Great Lakes, keeping us dry for a few days in the Great Lakes and the upstate and northeastern parts of the United States. Some moisture in Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, and some light showers in the South. Florida, you're getting some activity probably from that tropical moisture from that system that's trying to develop. Now, that gets interesting too, as GFS does pick up an area of concern. I think you can see it. The best part about that particular run, oh, here it is. That is I believe, the wave that is near Africa. That last second low pressure system that sneaks in here. I think that's the second wave. But as you see here, the early models have this thing not getting close to landfall and taking a curve and going back out to sea. Let's take a look at it. So I think we see the beginning of our system that tried to form as a hurricane really pick up the moisture right here. Okay. If we do get anything from that system that's sitting over Puerto Rico, I believe this is right around the date that we could see some more action. Heavy rain, tropical rains, yes. If this thing tries to get organized, as I said, this area here is favorable with light wind shear, but with stronger wind shear coming from the lower 48, moving along with the jet stream, it's going to push this storm out as well, the first one. So if you watch that low, it's exactly what happens. And then here in the background, the second wave does make a closer approach and has a chance of being a hurricane at this time. Intensifies, but this thing gets tighter and more organized as it goes back out into the Atlantic. Meanwhile, the United States, starting to see that wet pattern develop again. Across the Ohio Valley, Kentucky, Northeast. August looking to be soggy for the Midwest and the Northeast. The South, just widespread scattered showers. Missouri, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, you're going to have frequent chances of moisture to come through the area. Heavy rain through Chicago, Indiana, mid-month of August. So we do see an increase. So we've been kind of moderate here lately with the weather as far as drying out. But we do see what looks like an increase of wet weather across Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, and of course the East Coast and the South, even into the Northeast. Meanwhile, the Rockies, typical monsoon rain season out here. Northern plains, you're staying pretty quiet. And the West, drier air means what? Hotter temperatures. And we will see that in the Southwest. We will see triple-digit temperatures out here. But look at this, guys. I stopped it. Let's go back to the beginning. Southwest, hot in the desert, hot in California, triple digits, all the way through the end of July. Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, parts, also the deep South. But we get into August, and look what happens. That heat is staying into the Southwest. Daytime highs, barely making it out of the 70s in most of the Midwest and Northeast. Mid-August, you can see that cool front coming down as we get closer to mid. Now that heat builds up once again in the South, but we still see cooler temperatures in the Northeast and the Midwest, the Great Lakes, all the way out to August 15th. So again, we don't have to worry about snow or anything like that. The deep South will get the August dog days of summer. Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas mostly. We'll also see the dog days of summer in August. But Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Tennessee, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, those areas that you're growing crop in are not going to see that summertime heat that we need for these crops to make it through. And then we're racing against time on the first freeze of 2019. Hopefully it is in late October to early November. There might be a chance of salvaging decent yields if we can get that far into the fall. All right, Mari, did you want to come over here and say hello to everybody before we sign off for the evening? This
I sure will.
hot and muggy Tuesday night.
I don't think anyone can hear the thunder and the lightning outside, which is sad. It's beautiful, and it's finally cooling off. So thank you, Jake, for predicting that earlier. He's my personal weatherman. I'd like to thank Matt Bros for the super chat. He said use as needed. And we're talking about, he got his t-shirt and t-shirts that he recently saw in the store. He had, it was right up your alley, Jake. It said 5 out of 4 people suck at math.
I always say there's 3 kinds of people in the world. Ones that can count and ones that can't count.
And I said, that is so Jake. And then he said, the struggle is real. And I said, well, my God, I have a shirt that says the struggle is real, don't I, Jake?
You do, I believe.
So, fun times. He also says that USDA keeps pushing the crop report back. Be August now before they say anything but neutral to positive, sure. Which is outrageous, isn't it? I'd also like to thank SoulQuest216 for the fancy Super Chat sticker with the hippo that's KOing. That's something new that YouTube's doing now, Jake.
Awesome.
Fancy stickers for the chat. We got more. Thor wants you to check out Tony Heller's latest video.
Absolutely.
I saw his one from, I think, yesterday or the day before. I don't know if there's another one out today. Concerned Canadian wants to clone your wife, Jake. I don't know why. I'm a pain in the... And then Cheryl Napier says, for those who know what Annie's cookies are, in December the chocolate bunnies were $2.99. January they went to $3.19, and today they're $3.39. 40 cents in 9 months. Well documented. Good job. We need more people tracking these prices because this is how it happens. It just creeps up and up and up, and then before you know it, it's either empty shelves or you can't afford it. Not funny.
No.
And then Daniel was the one that pointed out the power outages map. Right now we're at 29,403 for New York, and it looks like Texas is getting some kind of power outage. I believe it's just shy of 20,000, maybe 18,000. I haven't looked. I don't have it in front of me. It's just a guess. Annie she says she's going to share this. Sharing our videos is so important because it helps our rank in being seen with YouTube. We battle so hard to be seen. Yeah. It's pathetic. I don't know if people caught the beginning of the show because we had tech issues, but our Google, we used to be suggested by Google, and 80% of our traffic used to come from Google search. If we look at our analytics now, we're getting 5% from Google search. So we have lost a huge factor of exposure for our channel. So we need your help. Sharing is awesome.
Yep, please do.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, she says the USDA knows. She added her zip code to the zone map, and they've downgraded her zone from 7B to 7A, which means she has to grow spring crops later, and fall crops have to go in sooner. So I haven't realized they did that. I'll have to look. And I guess also Daniel would like you to send him some rain. Do you have that capability, Jake?
I wish.
Down in Palm Springs? So that's all I got. I spent the day putting together another learning series video, which is probably going to upset some alarmists because I sort of dig into the IPCC and I give an explanation of the grand solar minimum. So I'm hoping you guys will enjoy it. I'm hoping it'll be a resourceful video for you to share with people that are entering into the topic that sort of need a primer. So that's all I have, Jake. Look at you. You're in the chat, Jake.
Yes, sending a message out here to Mr. Matt. Guys, Matt in our chat, Matt in our chat, rhymes. Very good guy. He's a farmer out in Nebraska. Very humble young man. He has a family, works very hard, and I'd love to get this guy on our show on a Sunday afternoon, just have a discussion and talk about the pros and the cons of farming, just hear about the day-to-day work. And I really think that listening to his story, and it's not that, it's not just some special farmer here, it's just the day of life of a farmer. For me, it's crazy because I've always worked a 9-to-5 job and never had to resort. The most yard work I've ever done is mowing a 3-acre yard when I lived in Tennessee. So to me, this is fascinating when he sends me videos of working in the fields. Not only that, but we get a firsthand experience of how challenging the conditions can be during this time. And thankfully, he was able to get his fields planted, but he was one of few in his area that did that. So Matt, thank you so much for your contributions to this channel during our shows and behind the scenes as well. And like I said, I'd love to have you on sometime, have a discussion about what we're going through and maybe what we could do in the future to help improve our situation. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Make sure you check out our Patreon channel, Facebook, and Twitter. We do have t-shirts for sale as well. I'm sure Mario will make that link available. All proceeds go back into our channel and, of course, into the project that we have going right now, hopefully getting Mario's childhood home refurbished at some point. That is a long, long list of things to do at that particular house. But this channel really, most of the proceeds goes into that project. We have to make sure we have a piece of property as well in the future to make sure that we can sustain a life without relying on grid and water and stuff like that. This is an older house, so it has a fireplace. There's things about it that has charm that we feel like that can be very valuable for the upcoming time. So I'm looking forward to get that project completed here soon. But unfortunately, it does look like we'll be doing that for a little bit longer. But anyway, meantime, guys, want to check those things out for us. Until next time, guys, we will see you guys Thursday night on our next live broadcast, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, we will talk soon. Take care, guys.